Hey guys, welcome back. Joe Brunsman here, and today I'm going to be talking about a topic that kind of blows my mind that it even ruffles feathers because at the end of the day, it's actually good for everybody. So today I'm going to be explaining why there are three very practical reasons that your MSP may be contractually requiring you to carry cyber insurance. Now, who am I to even be talking about this if you haven't run into me before? I'm a former IT. I have a bachelor's in robotics from the United States Naval Academy. I have a master's in cybersecurity law from the Cary School of Law. I'm also a best-selling author on the topic of cyber insurance. I've written two quite lengthy tomes on that particular topic, as well as a couple of other books centered around insurance. And I'm the founder of an insurance brokerage where I focus on, amongst other things, tech E&O insurance. That's going to be the E&O insurance your MSP carries, as well as cyber insurance. That's a type of insurance that your business could be carrying. In addition, I've dealt with way too many breaches. I've dealt with this from both the MSP side as well as the side of their clients, right? Having done cyber insurance for them. So I've seen both sides of this, and I'm here to say there's a very practical reason on why your MSP may be contractually requiring you to carry cyber insurance. And I would say by the end of this presentation, if they don't already, you're going to be the one going to them saying, hey, you guys need to be contractually requiring this. Now, let's start off with kind of the elephant in the room. It's very common for businesses to say, hey, that's not fair. First of all, they're going to be saying, hey, I pay this MSP good money every single month to keep me safe. Why am I on the hook for additional costs in this tough economic environment? Shouldn't my vendors be the one that pay for their mistakes? Next, how does any of this make sense? But I'm here to tell you, having worked on both ends of this, if you've thankfully never been part of a data breach or ransomware or some type of cybercrime loss, you're missing a few pieces of the puzzle that you don't want to figure out are missing after some type of cyber event occurs. All right, so that's why you should be watching this video. Now, reason number one, you don't want to put your business in immediate financial hardship. Now, cyber insurance is generally way faster than filing some type of lawsuit. So I'm not saying you're never going to have legal recourse against your MSP, but what I am telling you is think of cyber insurance as that quick, smash in case of emergency piggy bank there for you. Now let's talk about a scenario. Let's say your business falls victim to some type of cyber breach and data breach. And the total loss there is going to be about $500,000. Not even necessarily a big data breach, unfortunately. Now let's assume that there was some technical error and your MSP, for the sake of argument, is 100% at fault here. They were not doing something that they were contractually required to do. That is the direct mechanism of loss which led to this data breach. Well, you could be out of that $500,000 for a very, very long time if you decide to bring a lawsuit. Why is that? Well, foremost, the immediate cost after that data breach, it's probably going to be borne by your company. Why is that? Let's say that you're a CPA firm and you have a whole bunch of social security numbers, and those social security numbers are stored on a server that is on the premises of your MSP. Generally, they're going to be construed as the data holder. You are the data owner. So the immediate costs of the attorney, the forensics, breach notification, credit monitoring, business interruption, damage and data restoration, PR representative, call center, so forth, and reputational harm, so forth and so on. That's going to be borne by your business, at least in the immediate term. In the long term, yeah, maybe you could bring a lawsuit against your MSP and try and recoup those costs, but who knows how long that's going to take. Once you start getting insurance companies involved and attorneys involved in the legal system, I will say that our legal system at this level, it's not really designed to be fast. All right, so you do not want your business to be out, let's say, $500,000 or more for however long it could take for that particular lawsuit to actually come to fruition. Reason number two, not every loss you could experience is reasonably the basis for a lawsuit. Now, here's a real life example. Your company gets hit with a zero-day attack. That's a type of attack or a vector of attack that nobody knows exists except the bad guys. We don't know it exists until 0 day. That's when it actually hits the streets and we start seeing that loss and that mechanism of loss in the real world. Now, could you try a lawsuit against your MSP? Maybe you could, but how are you going to prove that somehow they were negligent when they weren't defending against something that nobody knew was actually supposed to be defended against? That's going to be a very, very long road to travel. All right. Even if you are ultimately successful, just like the previous example, you could be out a whole bunch of money, or your system could be down, or you could be really in a difficult financial position with your business until that lawsuit somehow makes its way through the system. And that's even assuming that you're going to win, which who knows, it's going to be fact pattern dependent. So you don't want to be sitting there holding the cost of that initial loss plus the cost of litigation with the, kind of fuzzy question mark on if you're even going to get something out of this in the long run. It's really just a lot faster and a lot more certain that cyber insurance would pay out for that type of loss. All right, reason number 3, exhaustion of E&O limits. Now, once again, let's say you actually have a legitimate issue that requires litigation against your MSP. Well, your MSP does not have unlimited errors and omissions insurance. That's E&O insurance, just like your business does not have unlimited insurance. So here's another scenario for you. Let's say a different client of the MSP, you don't even know they exist. They end up sending $1 million to a bad guy. It could be a third generation of the family that's running that business. They got 20 employees. Those employees all have their own issues to deal with, mouths to feed. They could have student loans. They could have mortgages, all the things that we deal with in life. Now, if that business didn't have cyber insurance, they could bring a lawsuit against your MSP. Now, later in the year, let's say you legitimately have an issue where your MSP screwed up and you are full, just dead to rights to bring a lawsuit against that MSP. Well, how do you know that insurance is even going to be there, right? Maybe that first scenario, that client you don't even know existed, they exhausted the limits, the E&O insurance limits of your MSP. Now you're sitting there and you're going, well, I have this big claim and I'm sitting here in the right, and some other Yahoo down the street just wiped out those guys' insurance because they didn't have cyber insurance. So very succinctly, you actually want and you need every other client of the MSP to be contractually required to carry cyber insurance. In this particular example, it's in your best interest because that's going to preserve that pot of money that you could legitimately recoup from, okay? So bringing it all together in total here, generally having cyber insurance is going to be faster and it's going to be safer. It's going to provide a lot more certainty for your business in a world where cybersecurity is chaotic and it has a lot of unknown variables in it. It's in your own best interest, right? That last example we talked about, it's in your own best interest that you have cyber insurance. And actually, you want every other business of your MSP to be contractually required to carry cyber insurance as well. So this is something where it's increasingly becoming common. If this is the first time you're coming across this, safe to say you're not the only one who's had these type of questions. But hopefully that provided a little more clarity to this situation for something that has a lot of misconceptions, but at the end of the day, I think you as a business, you're going to be a lot safer with this type of arrangement. Now, if you'd like to learn more about cyber insurance, as I promised in the beginning, this is my latest book, Damage Control, Cyber Insurance Compliance, about 500 pages of everything you probably never wanted to know about cyber insurance. That is a video how to understand and intelligently explain cyber insurance. So in less than 10 minutes, just like this video, it's going to go through the 2 sides and the 4 buckets of coverage. That's really going to go a long way to making sure that if you have to go to an insurance broker who doesn't really understand this stuff or they don't have a big background in it, That can help fill in a lot of those unknowns for you as you move forward. I'll put a link to that in the description below. And with that, I hope you found this video useful and you learned something. So please like, share, comment, subscribe, share with your peers to make sure that they're staying out of trouble as well. And with that, stay safe.